Well, hello everyone, I'm Jensen. Today is Monday, April 12th, and from the May 4th primary to alcohol delivery right here in Ohio, I have all the stories you need to know to get in the loop tonight. But first, let's get a quick check on our weather.
Overnight, the sky will become mostly clear. Watch the clock for tomorrow, Tuesday, mostly sunny skies, a little west-southwest breeze. And again, you saw this isn't really going to bring in much for warmer weather. But it will at least allow temperatures to be similar to today, tomorrow, and you add the sunshine, that's what'll do the trick, and get highs up close to 70. It should be a beautiful afternoon, just a little bit breezy tomorrow afternoon. Watch the clock into Wednesday and you'll see very clearly what's going to happen during the day on Wednesday. Stop the clock in the morning, there could be a little bit of sunshine, but by the noon hour, skies will be clouding up. And look for at least a chance of showers in the afternoon. The chance is very slight, only 20 to 30%. But what you're seeing here is the key to Wednesday. It will be overcast all afternoon, and that will help to hold the temperature down. Tonight's mild. 42 the low temperature, and tomorrow mostly sunny, pleasant. The high will reach 68 degrees. Now winds will gust up to around 20 miles per hour, so just a bit of a breeze. On Wednesday, chance of afternoon showers. It's fairly slight, but it will be significantly cooler come Wednesday.
And election season is back in Ohio with the primaries coming up on May 4th, but you may or may not have something to vote on depending on what county or precinct you live in. As a heads up, Northwest Ohio counties that are not holding a May 4th primary are Lucas, Defiance, and Paulding, but those other counties will be looking at tax levies in other local government races. Early voting in Ohio has already kicked off, and usually it takes place at the County Board of Elections offices. And your county's Board of Elections website is going to be your best friend through this process. It's the easiest way to check if you have a local issue to vote on, and if you plan to vote in person on May 4th, you can check there to make sure your polling place is in its usual spot. And that's important because sometimes with spring primary elections, voting locations are moved or are consolidated because officials expect fewer voters. Or you can vote absentee. Now you have to submit your application for your absentee ballot to your County Board of Elections office by May 1st at noon. Your completed absentee ballot can be mailed to the elections office postmarked by May 3rd or put into a drop box outside your Board of Elections office. These drop boxes are made available 24 hours a day, every day through the close of polls at 7:30 p.m. on Election Day. For important links and a complete breakdown of what issues Northwest Ohioans will be voting on county by county, head over to WTOL.com/elections. And Ohioans can now get alcohol delivered right to their door thanks to House Bill 674, which is now law. The move makes alcohol delivery permissible 7 days a week, even on the holidays. There are a few rules, of course, but they're pretty basic, like the drink has to stay in its original container, and unsurprisingly, the person receiving the alcohol delivery must be at least 21 years old. Now, this new law officially went into effect today, but was actually signed by Ohio Governor Mike DeWine back in January. And Ohio's infrastructure received a C- grade earlier this year, but the American Jobs Plan aims to tackle a few key issues. President Joe Biden introduced the plan on March 31st, which proposes $2.7 trillion in new federal spending over the next 8 years. And this would all be funded by increasing business taxes, including raising the corporate tax rate to 28% and establishing a minimum tax on corporate book income. And today, a fact sheet for Ohio was released, which detailed a number of key areas that need addressed, including roads and bridges. Just listen to this. In Ohio, there are 1,377 bridges and over 4,925 miles of highway reported to be in poor condition. Since 2011, commute times have increased by 5.7% in Ohio, and on average, each driver pays $506 per year in costs that are due to driving on roads in need of repair. 681,000 renters in Ohio are rent burdened, meaning they spend more than 30% of their income on rent. Now, in the American Jobs Plan, Biden proposes investing over $200 billion to increase housing supply and address the affordable housing crisis. Other highlights in today's fact sheet include a $100 billion investment to expand access to broadband, $111 billion to address clean drinking water, and plans to make childcare more affordable. And as a reminder, this plan must be passed by Congress to actually go into effect. And representatives with Pfizer hope its COVID-19 vaccine will be ready for some children by the start of the next school year. The company has announced that it submitted clinical trial data for adolescents 12 to 15 years old to the FDA for emergency use authorization. The drug maker says its COVID-19 vaccine is 100% effective in preventing all symptoms of the virus after completing a clinical trial with 2,300 adolescent participants. But while many see the shot as a way to get students safely back in the classroom, others wonder why they need a vaccine if most kids show mild or no symptoms. Dr. Michael Chang, a pediatric infectious disease specialist at University of Texas Health, says most kids aren't seriously affected by the coronavirus, but some are. In rare cases, older teens have been hospitalized with multisystem inflammatory syndrome. The CDC has been monitoring clusters of cases centered around youth sports. Chang said getting kids vaccinated protects not only them, but everyone they come in contact with. When Pfizer submitted for emergency use authorization for its COVID-19 vaccine for adults, it took about a month for the FDA to grant the authorization, but Chang says the FDA Advisory Committee may ask for more safety data this time around since it involves pediatric patients. Pfizer reps say they hope to have shots available to teens by the fall. And a 20-year-old Minnesota man is now dead after he was shot by police at a traffic stop yesterday afternoon. Police say the officers conducted the stop before 2 p.m. in an attempt to take Daunte Wright into custody for an outstanding warrant. They also say that during the stop, Wright got back into his car and one of the officers fired his gun, striking the 20-year-old. A press release from the Brooklyn Center Police Department states the vehicle then traveled several blocks before colliding with another car. A female passenger in the car was transported to North Memorial Hospital with injuries related to the crash. No other injuries were reported by anyone inside the vehicle that was struck. Wright's family first identified him as the driver who died at the scene. Earlier Sunday, Wright's mother, Katie, told our sister station, KARE 11, that her son called her while he was being pulled over to get insurance information for the vehicle, a car she recently gave to him. But today, bodycam footage was released, and in that footage, an officer can be heard immediately telling the other officers at the scene, "I just shot him." Police Chief Tim Gannon said he believes the officer actually meant to fire a taser, but he did confirm the officer is on administrative leave. Following the shooting, a large group of community members gathered near the scene as officials continued their investigation. Just after 9:30 p.m., hundreds of demonstrators began blocking Humboldt Avenue just south of the Brooklyn Center Police headquarters. Crews on scene reported that multiple rounds of tear gas were fired by law enforcement in an effort to disperse the crowd. A curfew went into effect last night, which was lifted at 6:30 this morning, and a heavy law enforcement presence, including the National Guard, was in the city today in an effort to assist in potential unrest. The Sunday night shooting occurred as the trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin plays out less than 10 miles away. Chauvin is charged with second-degree murder, second-degree manslaughter, and third-degree murder in the May 25, 2020 death of George Floyd. Bystander video and body cam footage showed Chauvin kneeling on Floyd's neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Today, Chauvin's defense attorney asked the judge to further question and sequester the jury due to his concern that the Brooklyn Center shooting and the unrest that followed would affect their ability to deliver an impartial verdict. The judge denied both motions. This morning, the jury heard from a cardiologist who testified as an expert witness that Floyd's cardiopulmonary arrest was due to low oxygen caused by the prone restraint from Chauvin and other officers.
It was caused by low oxygen levels, and those low oxygen levels were induced by the prone restraint and positional asphyxiation that he was subjected to.
This afternoon, George Floyd's 39-year-old brother, Philonise Floyd, took the stand.
And he just was like a person that everybody loved around the community. He just knew how to make people feel better.
As the trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin enters its third week, the judges indicated that the jury could begin deliberating as early as next Monday. And before I sign off, I would be remiss not to remind you that the holy month of Ramadan, known for bringing Muslims together and for fasting, kicks off in the United States tonight. Ramadan is the holiest month of the year for the world's nearly 2 billion Muslims. It occurs on the 9th month of the lunar calendar and begins the morning after the crescent moon is sighted. Ramadan is a time of spiritual reflection, self-improvement, heightened devotion, and worship. For Muslims, it teaches them to practice self-discipline, self-control, sacrifice, and empathy for those who are less fortunate. Throughout the month, healthy adult Muslims will fast for 30 days between dawn and dusk and break their fast with a traditional meal called iftar. So if you happen to see an Islamic friend or neighbor, now is a good time to wish them Happy Ramadan, or in Arabic, Ramadan Mubarak. But that is all I have for you today. If you liked this video, hit that like button and of course subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Jensen, and now you're in the loop.